Well, good afternoon. Can anyone hear me? I think so. Yeah. Hi. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to She Bites Daily. I'm your host and raging feminist, Mandalena. It is Friday, June 14th today, and these are your major Metoo news just past noon. A new report is showing that Children's Aid Society in Canada is turning a blind eye to sexual abuse by foster parents. A damning finding states that foster parents across Ontario have been using their homes as teenage sex dens, including one family that was described by a victim as a sex cult. The neglect was covered on Global News investigation, which was made public Wednesday. The Aid Society is located in Prince Edward County, and officials are saying they ignored ongoing incidents of abuse between 2002 and 2010. A number of foster parents were charged and convicted, while the former executive director of the Aid Society, Bill Sweet, is facing charges for failing to report and covering up. In the case of Joe and Janet Holmes from Eastern Ontario, they taught their foster children to be playthings, as plaintiff MR stated that they would set up photo shoots for the teens, watch porn with them, and throw sex parties where they would invite others over to openly sexually abuse the young. The court documents state these young children were taught to be playthings, certainly Joe's playthings, all the while Janet watched. Here's a clip from plaintiff MR.
They started by taking pictures of us in our swimsuits, making us pose very provocatively, but really making it so we were to feel empowered.
Sweet's lawyer, William McDowell, says that Mr. Sweet intends to vigorously defend these charges and that it would be inappropriate for him to comment further. Nearly 1 in 5 employees of the U.S. National Institute of Health who responded to a recent survey say they experienced gender harassment while at work during the previous 12 months. According to an interim report that the biomedical agency just posted, the majority say that they were targets of unwelcome sexual abuse and harassment. Overall, 21.6% of respondents said that they had experienced harassment, while women reported higher rates than men at 26.9%. 44.8% of transgender staff and those of other gender identities reported sexual harassment as well. Among those who haven't reported, 77.4%, say they refrained from doing so because they didn't think their harassment wasn't serious enough to make a complaint. A reminder, the statistics of unreported sexual abuse by women specifically remains at 95 to 98%. The survey elicited just over 16,000 NIH employees conducted between January and March of this year. Former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson is looking to make work safer in the Me Too era by putting out an in-depth documentary about McDonald's. The advocate helped make way for the momentous Me Too movement when she filed a sexual harassment complaint in 2016 against Chairman Roger Ailes. It was an unprecedented act. The Fox News tycoon stepped down from his position, and then the network issued an apology to Carlson. After writing New York Times bestselling novel Be Fierce, Carlson was inspired to create the documentary Breaking the Silence, containing the untold stories of McDonald's workers who share their experience of sexual harassment and abuse at the workplace.
I'm on a mission to give voice to these untold stories. He just grabs me, he locked me in, he tried to spit on me, and to challenge those in power. Following up on sexual harassment allegations, we've had no response, so we're here in person today to try and get some answers. Gretchen Carlson breaking the silence.
Carlson says, "My hope is that they stop turning a blind eye to sexual harassment and determine how to make workplaces safer for everyone. It's not that tough. The final part in really making a change is having companies realize that this is not a passing fad." I wish it wasn't just that tough. Carlson had also spoken up fervently about companies and institutions ending the use of sexual harassment non-disclosure agreements. It is currently mostly cloudy, 19 degrees in Victoria with highs of 21 and lows of 15. Please stay tuned for today's commentary about media companies being charged for telling lies about companies who say they take sexual harassment seriously. All right, so this is where we can apply the words allege, claims, he says, the institution's grand story, the company's seriousness has not been proven in court. It is my belief that news outlets should be held accountable for telling lies. These companies, institutions, corporations are lying to publications and rely on the fact that they can tell them anything they want, and they will publish it, which means their public image remains unscathed. They are lying when they say that they take women's safety seriously, and what happens when information starts spilling, when the lies and cover-ups are told. Who will be held responsible? Companies and entities do this while executing a vigorous defense in the court system against survivors and whistleblowers. News outlets print and publish anything they are given from these entities because they don't fear legal or monetary backlash from survivors for not getting it right. What makes matters worse is when women sign non-disclosure agreements. They can't say a damn thing while their abusing entity smears their name publicly, calls them a liar, says they have a drinking problem, say they are a problem employee. News outlets print it, and the survivors get buried deeper in silence. I have spoken to many journalists trying to cover the issue of systemic sexual abuse over the last few years. There are some exquisite journalists, and they're usually the ones who write up your favorite go-to story. But they too are under watchful eye of the not proven in court legalities. When journalists get a big story, like say for instance the WestJet proposed class action lawsuit and what's going on there, they get excited and they try their best to publish the truth. The cover-ups, the complicity, the criminal behavior, when they go running with their excitement to their editors take the story to their legal team, and the legal team says, guess what? The story is too risky for us to publish. It happens way more often than you think. We could and likely will get a lawsuit. They could and likely will get a lawsuit from the powerful corporations or entities that they are going after. And that's how our stories continue to get buried. Instead, we will see safe stories like how great our country is and things like baby ducks. I know because I've gone to the journalism school that shall not be named, and I have experienced firsthand the pushback and the shame for covering realities in the Metoo era. That's why my two friends and I created She Bites Media Society. We are a not-for-profit media organization. We're dedicated to publishing and broadcasting all women's truths and all truths in the Me Too era. It is in our mandate, in fact, that we will never use the words allege, claims, her story hasn't been proven in court. Never. Never. What we will do is always use the words against the abusing entity because they have and are lying and getting away with it. They have been getting away with it for a long, long time. So that's today's news for Friday. This has been your commentary. If you feel what I'm saying here and you've experienced similar, please don't hesitate to reach out with your ideas, your comments, tips, stories. You can be anonymous. It's time that women and allies and survivors come forward and fight against this war on women and smash the patriarchy once and for all. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can make a comment, as I said, or you can reach out to shebitesmedia@gmail.com. Well, please have a wonderful and reckoning weekend to all our survivors, allies, friends, and until Monday, please make sure to survive, disobey, and document. Oh, we gotta get the ditty. There it is.